What is up, guys? Gamer here, and today I am bringing you guys episode 1 of once again another new series and another new type of thing, something I've never really done before, something that's very new to me actually. And the reason it's new to me is I very rarely do a rebuild league. I haven't done a rebuild league before, especially in Madden. I have done a rebuild league once before in 2K, and it went relatively well. This is going to be a little bit different than that 2K rebuild league though, for those who watch that one. But before I explain all that stuff, let's just choose the team. Let's explain the team and why I chose it, basically my reasoning behind that, and then we'll discuss what our potential moves will be to make the team better, and explain how the series is going to be run, so you guys will know if this is the series for you or not. So let's move over to the St. Louis Rams, and that is going to be the team that we select. Now, real quick, now that we're looking at the Rams, I'm actually going to create an owner. For those of you wondering why I'm doing that, I want to relocate to Los Angeles. Now, I have nothing wrong with St. Louis, but growing up in LA, or not exactly in LA, but I live right next to LA. I've grown up here, and I've always wanted to see the Rams move back here because I've always wanted to watch them play, and I've always had parents who were Rams fans. My dad's a huge Rams fan, and that's kind of how I got the influence of the Rams in my life. In real life, I'm actually a huge Chargers fan. That's my number one team. Let's not talk about my reasoning behind that because they suck. I understand it. Okay, I'm not even gonna argue for them on this subject. But let's be a lifelong fan, and this will kind of add more reasoning to us moving back to Los Angeles. But I've always viewed them as more of an LA team. Ever since they went to St. Louis, they kind of dropped off a little bit, and that's more of the past decade or two, and they haven't really been the team that they were. Besides the years of Marshall Faulk and I think I don't remember their history a whole lot actually. I'm not even gonna pretend like I know a lot of their history, but I don't think they've been very good for a long time. So let's just keep our name relatively simple. We'll be the LA Gamer, and let's explain what I want to do in this series. So before we talk about what we want to do to the team, let's address the issues that are currently kind of bugging the team and plaguing the team in real life. The quarterback is a big issue, and it's been an issue for a while, ever since they drafted Sam Bradford with the #1 overall pick. It's just been kind of bad. Let's just keep that as the word. He never really panned out, primarily due to injury purposes. I don't remember exactly what his stats were when he was actually playing, but for the most part, it was like a torn ACL, then another torn ACL, and guess what? He tore his ACL again. It was a little bit ridiculous. But recently, especially this past year, they've looked better primarily because of the crazy running back that they have in their backfield in Todd Gurley, who panned out to be a great running back, at least thus far. The past couple of weeks, he's been a little bit shaky, but the first 4 or 5 weeks of the season that he started, I believe the stats said that it was the best thing since Adrian Peterson, or that was the argument somewhere, that he looked like a young Adrian Peterson. That was kind of the argument that was circulating around, and I didn't jump exactly that far ahead so quickly, but I would be lying if I didn't say I was impressed by Todd Gurley's immediate impact in the NFL. It seemed like he already had a knack for what he was doing, and that's very rare for a rookie, especially a rookie running back, because it's not easy trying to break through with new offensive line against great defensive players. And while we're on that subject, let's discuss the offensive line, which also needs a little bit of work. Offensive line's been an issue. They tried drafting offensive line recently. I looked at Greg Robinson. I didn't see what his overall was in the game yet. Greg Robinson's overall is a 69. That's horrible. And he's our left tackle, and we expect him to block for Nick Foles, who, let me emphasize right now, will not be the quarterback for very long. I intend on getting a quarterback in the first year draft, or possibly even picking one up in free agency. I don't think I'm going to trade for one, because trading for a quarterback, you have to give up way too much, so it's not worth it. But we're going to try to probably draft a quarterback, and Nick Foles will maybe be a backup, or maybe we'll just trade him and get his salary cap off the books. But I don't know. I mean, we need a better left tackle. We need a better center, I believe. And I think our guards are good. We have Robinson, and we have I'm struggling a little bit, guys. I'm waiting for the simulation to end so I can look at the roster. I'm not super caught up on this team's roster. I have a pretty good idea of it, though. So let's look real quick at the roster so I can discuss more in detail what I want to say. So, of course, quarterback's an issue. I'm going to go back to wide receiver in a second, but Greg Robinson is actually a 77 in the scheme, 22 years old, so never mind. We won't worry about him yet. Since he fits well into the scheme, he's got a 99 physical grade. We'll keep him on the lineup. My bad. I didn't mean to jump the gun so far, but when I did check in the roster, in the main menu, it said he was a 69 overall, so I did have reason to say what I said. So, no, we'll keep Greg Robinson, though. Garrett Reynolds, 82 overall, that's workable. I mean, this is definitely not the first thing that we need to fix, so we'll just keep him at guard. Center's an issue, 71, that's pretty bad. That's usually the average, maybe backup center overall, so we need to get a new center. We need to get a new right guard. Saffold used to be a pretty nice player. Not only is he injured now, though, but he's a 72 overall, so he's just not the guy that we need being our right guard. So After that, we have right tackle, and we got a nice young guy here in Rob Havenstein, but he's a 69 overall, and that's not functional. That's not good enough to be the right tackle for the future. So we need a few lineman positions. We'll say primarily the center, right guard, right tackle. So the whole right side needs a little bit of work. And I think our defense is pretty good. Our left end is good. You see, even our backup left end is 85 overall, Chris Long, but I thought Long was a beast. Maybe we'll start him over Hayes. I'm not quite sure yet how we're going to run that. Defensive tackle, is there anything more we need to say about Aaron Donald? This guy's a monster. Then we got Nick Fairley backing him up. So this defensive line should be just bringing home tons of sacks. We then have Ogletree and Mark Barron, who was actually transferred from a strong safety to left offensive linebacker this past season. Ogletree's just a total beast, though. James Lauder-Nice is a great tackler, great open field player, great IQ, and that's all we can really ask for, a middle linebacker. And then right outside linebacker, we have Akeem Ayers, and a backup in Bryce Hager, who's nice and young, so that's not that big of an issue. Quarterback might need a little bit of work. Secondary, EJ Gaines is injured. I don't know who he's injured with. I haven't paid attention to his injury in real life, but Janoris Jenkins is not good enough to be a number one cornerback. He's good. I'm not gonna like diss him or anything, but he's a good number 2 guy, I would say, 5'10". I want to get a nice little 6'1", 6'2", maybe even a 6'3" corner to play as our number 1 corner, and maybe we can get that in the draft. Maybe we can get that in free agency. I don't know, but I think we need to work on secondary a little bit. Free safety, we can work with Rodney McLeod. He's at 80 overall. He's only 25, so that's actually a functional safety. At strong safety though, TJ McDonald is also a good player. He hits pretty hard though, if I remember correctly. 92 hit power, so he's the type of safety I like. I like safeties that hit really hard, especially strong safeties. So I have nothing wrong with TJ McDonald. So let's readdress the main issues. Quarterback, wide receiver. Oh, I didn't get here yet. Man, Tavon Austin never panned out. I don't know what the issue was. I think when we use him in the league, though, he might be alright, just because he's fast and he's elusive. But he's just not the guy that people expect him to be. Kenny Britt, Brian Quick, and Stedman Bailey. I know their overalls aren't that bad, and on paper they might not look like that bad of receivers, but they're not the receiving core that you need to win a championship. It's just how it is. That's not good enough. It just really isn't. Kenny Britt's 6'3", Brian Quick is 6'3" as well. So it's good height, and they'll be great guys to run as functional number 2 guys, and maybe even a number 4. But we need a nice, big, just good number 1 receiver. Maybe like I'm trying to think of expiring contracts soon, but I wouldn't mind if for a couple of years. Actually, he just got re-signed. Maybe an Alshon Jeffrey soon. I don't know if he got re-signed recently though, but we're looking for a guy of that nature. Okay, so maybe not him exactly, but somebody like that. Jared Cook's a functional tight end. He fits the type of tight end role that I like. I like tight ends that can catch and can play. Look, he's pretty fast. 85 speed, 91 acceleration. In my fantasy draft league, for those of you who watch, I have a really fast tight end in Ladarius Green, and he has a lot of big plays, so Jared Cook can kind of fit that type of mold for me. So let's readdress it real quick. Quarterback, wide receiver, right side of the offensive line, cornerback, and that's about it. So it's not a whole lot of stuff, but those are big positions. Quarterback and receiver, that'll be our whole passing game. The whole right side of the line, which is going to affect our running game, because Todd Gurley's going to have to get in the open field somehow. And okay, well, either way, you guys know what I want to do now. Now let me explain the series real quick. I'm sorry it took me 8.5 minutes to get into this part of the commentary, but basically, I'm not going to be playing that many games. I might be playing like a couple years down the road, and that will be in big playoff games, but I only expect this series to be about 10 to 15 episodes. It's going to be a very brief series, and then I'm going to move on to another rebuilding team, and just consistently try to get maybe 6 or 7 rebuilds done in this Madden, and just kind of get through the worst teams in the NFL right now. There's only about 6 or 7 teams that need severe rebuilding. We'll try to get all those teams done in about a 10 to 15 episode series for each one. The reason we're going to go by quickly is because, like I said, I'm going to be simming the games. I'm going to be simming at the end of the seson, then I'll be doing free agency, and then I'll be simming to the draft, doing the draft. But we'll be doing extensive research as we do that. Paying a close we'll pay close attention to the stats. I'm sorry for that little stutter there, and kind of get an idea of who needs the biggest improvement and things of that nature. And just get an idea from there as to who needs the biggest swap. I mean, if Nick Foles doesn't play that bad, we won't worry about him getting switched out the first year. Maybe another year down the road. You see what I mean? So we'll see how things function year by year. But without a doubt, there's a few positions that just need undoubted improvement. So we'll worry about it when we get there. So either way, I'm going to sim a couple of weeks. We're going to try to get to the point where we can actually relocate, because that's what I want to do. I want to relocate the team. We'll start worrying about scouting maybe in the playoffs. Well, how about that? Once we start our relocation process, we'll get all that figured out. And then what I'm hoping to do is in this introduction video, I'm hoping to get to the end of the first season. Not through off season and everything, but just the end of the first playoff series or the end of the first season in that sense, you know, where we're past the playoffs and everything, but we're not going to do the offseason or anything just yet. Let's see, we only lost by 3 points to the Seahawks. That's not bad. 30-35. Okay, well, hopefully, I don't know if because we simmed directly to regular season, if being able to relocate will not be available. I'm not sure, but hopefully none of you guys mind. Like I said, me moving the Rams to Los Angeles, realistically, it plays no impact except we get to get a new stadium, new uniforms. But I'll keep the Rams name because I think they have a cool name actually. I'm not gonna diss that. So we'll work with the same name, but we'll just get new uniforms in a new stadium. So there's no complaints there. So don't know what's going on here. Let's go to advanced week. Keep going week by week. I think it's about week 4 where the relocation process is available. So if you're wondering why I'm saying week by week and why I'm going so slowly, that's the reason behind it. Plus the simulation screens take quite a while to load, so it definitely can kind of kill the entertainment a little bit. So I hope you guys don't mind that much, but let's just keep moving along slowly but surely, and hopefully we'll get there before too long. Let's see. We're 0-3, and this is a blessing in disguise, really, guys, because like I said, I didn't say it, but we do want a good pick. For the pure purpose that it's a rebuild. We need new nice rookies. We're playing the 0-3 Cardinals as well, and I don't know why the Cardinals are 0-3. They actually have a pretty good team, but hopefully we'll lose to them, go 0-4 to continue our little bit of a slump, and hopefully we can get like a top 5 pick in the draft. That's really what I'm hoping for, because a top 5 pick in the draft will put us in a situation where we can get a pretty nice player to help the rebuilding process move along a little bit quicker. Sadly, we did beat the Cardinals there, 40-7. It wasn't even close, so I can't even call that a nail biter. But here we go. Start relocation. I was correct. It was week 4 that opens up. I'm not even going to consider the other cities. I know what I wanted to do, and we're going to go straight there. Los Angeles, where are you at? Let's move on. Here we go. LA. We got a huge market size, fair weather personality, and it's a 6 out of 7 or a 5 out of 6 fan interest. My bad. No complaints there. So now we're going to go week by week just to do the step-by-step process of the relocation. That's going to mean we're going to get the new jerseys next week or something like that. And then from there, we just do some different stuff. So it's pretty self-explanatory. It's pretty basic. You guys will kind of see what's going on as we move on step by step. So hopefully there's no confusion there. So let's just continue to move on. We have a pretty early bye week here, as we're actually getting our bye week in week 5. So choose name. Nothing crazy here. Like I said, I want to remain as the St. Louis Rams. Now, they're interested in some of these other team names, Aftershocks, Red Dragons, Crusaders. Those names are cool, but I don't see the Rams in real life ever changing their names, so I don't see why we would do it in this for the sake of realism, because it's actually just, in a sense, a realistic series. Typically, I do fantasy drafts, and those aren't realistic by any stretch of the imagination, but a rebuild league is, because you never necessarily know what can happen in real life and who will sign to what team, so we technically, in all reality, the Rams could be making a big move in the next couple of years, and we're just going to kind of push that process along. So, for some odd reason, the Browns are 6-0. That's ridiculous, but let's continue to move on. I don't know why the rebuilding process thing was not there, but maybe we'll have to keep moving on until the next couple of steps of the rebuilding process, or not the rebuilding process, the relocation process pop up. Let's just continue to wait. I'm sorry that the simulation screens are so slow. I didn't expect it to be like this. Okay. What? They skipped uniform? Was uniform up there, guys? Did I miss it? Oh my god, they picked a crappy uniform. I'm going to be so upset at myself. That will be really, really crappy. Let's just go basic sphere. I kind of like the idea of just playing in the sphere, having one of the, you know, those fields that are shaded, like how that kind of works like that when you're in a dome. The whole field is shaded. I think that looks really nice, and so that's what I want to play in, and that's why we'll pick that out. So we'll just switch from the Rams dome to a new dome, so nothing too crazy. It looks like, yep, Robinson got injured, so now with him out, we basically have nobody on our O-line. So real quick, let's just sim directly to the playoffs. Like I said, I don't think we're going to make any big trading moves this year, because I don't think we have the trading pieces necessary. Not only that, but I think we need to rebuild through the draft or free agency the first couple of years, or the first year or two, because not only do we not have the trade pieces, but I don't want to trade away any picks or anything, which are usually the most valuable trade assets, because like I said, we'll probably have a top pick, so I want to be able to use that on a top-notch rookie. So let's continue to move on here. You see we're going week by week. Like I said, the simulation thing is so slow on this, so I wish I could speed it up for you guys. I really do, but for now we're kind of stuck in that boring stage of the simulation process. So let's move on slowly but surely. We're in week 12. Sorry guys, this is one of the tougher parts of the series to try to commentate over. It's not easy to commentate over a simulation screen because it's like, what do I even say here? It's just a screen, so it's just kind of I guess it's just kind of whatever. But we're moving on. We're about 15 minutes in. I expect each episode to be about 20 minutes long, no longer, no shorter on most occasions because I think I've discussed this in other episodes or other videos. But when I try to upload long videos, it doesn't work out. I don't know if I have a bad internet connection or what's going on, but when I try to upload like 30 to an hour long videos, 30 minute to an hour long videos, they just don't seem to upload. There's some issue with converting the video file, so we can't have that happen in this, or else that would cause a lot of issues. So we'll have to just continue to maintain about a 20-minute long episode process, which should be good in the long run because at least it'll give you guys kind of consistency in terms of upload length and stuff like that. But I think this should be a really good series. Something I need to emphasize real quick now, just for none of you guys getting concerned about the fantasy draft series. This rebuild league will by no means slow down the process of my fans. The fantasy draft league, because the rebuild league, like I said, this will go by really quickly. I play for 20 minutes and I just talk over it, and this is really fun for me because I really like rebuilding. I really like using my sports knowledge to try to rebuild a team. I feel like I'm a part of Moneyball or something. It just feels really cool. So I kind of like it. So I think we'll keep Jeff Fisher. I don't actually think he's a bad GM. So he wants a 7-year contract. We won't do that. Give me some time to think about it. We'll give him kind of a lower amount of money for a lower amount of years, but I don't think it's that bad. This guy's good. I mean, look at that. He's level 21, so we'll give him what he's wanting because 690k really isn't much. We'll give him 4 years though instead of 5. I know there's not big of a difference, but his regression is bad. I don't really want to sign him. But what does he specialize in? Nothing. He just is bad. So we won't re-sign him as part of our management. Realistically, management or your staff means a lot in terms of how your team's going to play. So I don't mess around when it comes to staff. I don't try to sim through that because although it may not seem like it, having a good staff is really essential to having a good team because they're the ones who motivate them. They're the ones who are on the field. I mean, realistically, I'm the owner. I'm not going to be standing on the sidelines, or for most circumstances, I'll just be sitting in the booth at the field. So I can't be actually motivating my team. So that's why you need guys like Jeff Fisher and the scouts and stuff to improve the players. So let's move on week by week. I don't know what happens each week. So this first sim is going to be a little bit slower than the other ones just because I don't know what happens in each week by memory. So I don't want to miss anything important. That's why I'm going to go week by week just to make sure nothing big happens. I think before we go too far, though, let's actually check our player stats. I completely forgot to do that, guys. I'm sorry. I really hope I didn't worry you guys. I was going to forget to check that, but let's see. Okay, yeah, no, there's an issue. We had 3 different quarterbacks play this season. I think that's a sign within itself that we don't have a valid quarterback who's taken the spot. We've had 3 different guys. All 3 of them must have played a certain amount of games because all 3 of them threw about the same amount of touchdowns. Nick Foles obviously performed the best, but it still wasn't impressive. The highest completion percentage between the 3 was 56. That's terrible, so we're not working with that. Rushing wise, Todd Gurley went beast mode. Let's keep it as that. I mean, we had a terrible offensive line, and he managed to get 947 rushing yards on 4.1 yards a carry. I know it's not anything crazy, but for a rookie, for the offensive line that we had, I'm highly impressed with that performance, and I think he could be a pretty dominant running back for us. As he also got 191 yards in the passing game, even better than Tavon Austin. Tavon Austin, I mean, realistically, that's how many receiving yards most players. That's how many receptions and receiving yards most players should get in one game. He got that the whole season. So Tavon Austin didn't pan out. Let's just be honest about it. He was expected to be like an explosive player out of college, and I mean, of course, he's still got that crazy athleticism, but it just didn't transfer for some reason. So James Laurinaitis, like I said, he's a great tackler. I expected him to lead the team in tackles. Aaron Donald led the team in TFLs. Robert Quinn had 14 sacks. That is what I'm talking about. Nick Fairley, 7.5. Chris Long, 6.5. Look at this. I knew our defensive line was going to be great, but that's a lot of sacks. And that's something to definitely be impressed with. Janoris Jenkins, 5 interceptions. I think he may have paid close attention to me talking crap on him, and maybe it gave him a little bit of self-motivation. I don't know what happened there. We finished 5-11, though, worse in our division, which is good news. We finished worse than the Cardinals, and that'll actually give us the number 4 pick. So 5-11 is not a bad record for a number 4 pick. So all in all, I think I'm pretty content with how that worked. So let's continue to look at what's going on here. I'm pretty happy with everything. So let's scout college players real quick. Or actually, I don't know. Should we wait till the next episode to do that? I think we should. We should honestly wait till the next episode. Number one pick is the wide receiver. They're gonna force me to scout him because the game sometimes feels like that's necessary. Don't know why. So let's just continue to scout this guy because we don't have any other options apparently. B in all the catching grades, balanced receiver. I honestly, like I said, wouldn't mind another top-notch receiver. I wouldn't mind a top-notch cornerback, and that seems like kind of the top. That's the top three guys that are wide receivers and two cornerbacks. So here we go. There's another receiver here. 6'4", Reggie McNeil. Wow, okay, so this is looking like an interesting draft class. Definitely looking like some interesting positions, especially at the positions that we need to fill. Offensive line will probably look more towards the actual, what's it called, free agency. That's what it's called to actually rebuild that. But for this episode, I think we're basically done. We're able to rebuild. I was able to give you guys a nice little background on the team. This will probably be the most boring episode. So if you guys weren't as entertained in this episode, trust me, it will just continuously get more entertaining as we make the bigger moves in the offseason and things of that nature. So I hope you guys learned something new today about the Rams. I know I'm kind of getting an idea of how this roster set up as we go along. And hopefully in the next episode we can make some big moves in the offseason and make a big splash in the draft. That's all we can really hope for. So thank you guys for watching. If you guys enjoyed, please click like button below. Make sure to comment your opinion of this series and what I can do to make it more interesting in the comment section below. And make sure to subscribe if you haven't already to stay tuned to this series and other series I got going on my channel. Let's please make this series a success. I really want to do more series like this, so I'd really appreciate it.